What's up, girl gang? Welcome back to the girls' room. It is a beautiful day in New York. We've been having some pretty amazing weather. It already feels like summer, which I'm like, pump the brakes a little bit because I like to enjoy like the springy weather, which we don't really get that much anymore. It's like it goes from being freezing, raining, gross, humid, all this like weird weather to just being like 80 degrees. It's insane. I just want to say thank you to everyone for listening to my last episode. That episode is at over 500 views right now, which for a super small creator like myself, that is huge. My friend Joey tweeted it, and I think it like, that's what like it gave me this like huge jump because I went to sleep last night and I think it had 69 or 70 views, and I woke up this morning and it was like I think 588, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck? And then I like went on Twitter because he mentioned me and I saw that he reposted it. He's got a decent following on both Twitter and Instagram, so I was like, holy shit. I think obviously people will listen because they're nosy or they want to talk shit, or some people genuinely might just want to know, but whatever it is, it's pretty cool to like see that many people tuned in. I hope most of you enjoyed it. Unfortunately, it hasn't scaled to subscribers. Like I haven't had a huge jump in subscribers. I think I'm at like 93 on YouTube, so I gained like 4 or 5 or something from that. It's still counting. And on Spotify, I think it gained me like 2. So that's why I'm like, yeah, people were being nosy. I don't know that they cared so much about being a part of the girls' room, but whatever, that's their loss. I'm still grateful no matter what. And something that's been like really on my mind that is related to that episode is putting yourself out in the world regardless of how you feel about yourself. And it's really hard, and nobody understands what it's like to put yourself out there on camera, which obviously it is a choice. So I'm not, saying it like I'm just saying that just because it's a choice doesn't mean that it's like an easy choice, right? So I gotta be completely honest and vulnerable right now. I fucking hated the way that I looked in that episode. I don't know what it is about me doing episodes with people. I just look like I don't even look like me. I look way bigger than what I actually am, which is something that always bothers me. Like, I don't know if it's because I wore a big t-shirt. I don't know if it's because like I'm sitting head on now, so it's not that. I don't know what it is. Even the episode with my dad, even the episode with my friends, like I think I'm also very animated, and I don't like really have like a super structured face. So on camera, it picks up so differently. You learn so much about yourself when you start filming content. It's insane. You just see all of these things that you're like, oh my God, like my eye is so small compared to the other one. And when I laugh, I'm like, I have like no chin. And when I'm super animated and I'm like comfortable and I'm talking, I'm like, does everyone just look at me and I just look like this like moon face? Like, I don't know how to explain it, but my hair looked greasy, I felt like, and I just blew it out that morning. I also was so extremely tired. April is such a crazy month for me. Like after my birthday, it's like everyone's birthday. And just all these things. It's like when things get nice, there's baby showers, there's I had my sister-in-law's gender reveal, I had my friend's baby shower, I had like 2 birthdays. It just was back to back. Every single weekend was back to back. On Sunday I had plans. I had filmed that episode on a Sunday with the boys, and the day before I had something going on. So I was truly just like so run down and exhausted because I was just going 7 days a week at that point, which is hard. It's not easy to, I'm working already 6 days a week and then doing things after work and then doing things on my day off, which would be Sunday. So, that's hard. So I was tired. That was the first thing. And I was so nervous. I was nervous in every single one I've ever done. That's not just me. And I think like that's something to talk about because I've always had like really bad stage fright, you could say. And even though these are people that I'm super close to and I know, I just get like really bad anxiety. That's why we had like a drink before we started filming because my anxiety was through the roof. I was literally shaking and everyone's like, why? And I'm like, it's the fear of like being perceived, right? So how are people going to perceive you? I knew there would be a lot of eyes on this episode. And it was unfortunate that I just didn't like the way that I looked. I loved the episode. Like I thought the episode was great. And I obviously wasn't going to not post it, which, some people might have done, or I might have done that if I was at a different stage in my life. I might have been like, you know what, I'm not posting, and I just wasted everyone's time because I'm so concerned with the way that I look. And it just shows how much value we tie, especially as women, to our physical appearance and being so hard on ourselves. And, you could be mean to me, but I'm always going to be meaner. So the way that I'm watching myself and critiquing and just being super hard on myself, it sucks that we do that to ourselves. And, it's really hard to not only film and create long form content. Creating content in general is super hard, but filming and creating long form content like a podcast with video that you are then editing yourself. Because editing is so much work, especially when you're editing. This type of edit for me is now much easier because I can get this episode filmed in an hour and I can edit it depending on how long it is in an hour, 2 hours. It used to take me 6 hours to edit one episode of myself. So now when you have other people factored in and you want to make it engaging and play with edits and have fun with it, it takes it to a whole new level. But do you know what it's like to not only have to look at yourself and hear your own voice? Because everybody hates the sound of their own voice. You get like more used to it as you do it, but when I'm nervous and I'm talking to people, oh my God, I irk the living shit out of myself. Like my laugh, I'm more high pitched. I don't know if it's like a nervous thing. I'm like louder. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I just hate it. And then I just didn't like the way that I looked. So it was just like a clusterfuck of things where it's like, I know I'm beautiful and I know that, I'm not maybe for everyone, but that's just part of life. I mean, that has nothing to do with like being on a podcast or not. Everything's not going to be for everyone, no matter what. No matter how you look, no matter what you say, no matter what you sound like, they're polarizing people that people like hate. Those people even have people that love them, right? So anyway, I kind of went off the rails there, but it's just hard to do that. So when you're editing, you have to like replay the same part over and over. So you're like hearing your voice over and over like a bad DJ, like just over and over, like having to go back, replay, go back. Then you got to listen from start to finish. And then if you're anything like me, you got to listen from start to finish more than once. So that episode was like an hour and a half, something like that. Because then you start thinking of other things you want to edit and getting the edits cleaner and adding things in and all of the things. So it takes a lot is all I'm saying. So people that do content creation for a living in any aspect, I'm not going to say it's the hardest job in the world because it's definitely not, but it is really hard to do stuff like this. And I think that I'm learning through creating content and making this podcast I'm trying to learn. I won't say that I'm learning because I'm definitely not there yet. I'm trying to learn to not place so much value on what I look like, because it's not everything. It's not who I am. What I look like is not indicative of the type of person that I am. It doesn't mean because I look a certain way I have anything more or less to offer to this world, to this podcast, to the people in my life. And this is the same as, like I've said before, tying value to the amount of money that you make and tying it to anything that's outside of yourself and that's superficial is something that I think many of us probably struggle with and need to break away from. I have so much respect for people that just give no fucks, that can like put themselves out there as they are and not feel the need to edit themselves to like a crazy amount. I torture myself trying to make sure that I sound a certain way, make sure that I edit a certain way because I don't want to be offend someone, or I don't want to, and it is exhausting because the truth of the matter is, like I said, you are not for everyone and everyone is not for you. And the things that come out of your mouth sometimes are going to bother people and they might not like it and they might not agree with it. But if you're not intentionally hurting someone, then I got to take some of that pressure off myself. I'm going to try to take some of that pressure off myself. And this is like a learning curve for me because, you know, you got to be saying something that people can relate to, and you have to know who your audience is and who you're talking to, and that's what I need to really like hone in on, which I think I have to some degree. But I just need to remember that my listeners that enjoy me, that's my audience. So that's the only people that I want to cater to, are the people that get it, that get me, that like we're on the same page and on the same vibe. And part of that is accepting yourself like as you are and loving all of the parts of you, even when you're feeling like you have a case of the uglies, because that's how I felt. I can't tell you like how mean and hard on myself I was with that episode. And I had a great time with filming that episode. Like, we had so much fun. I got to hang out with my friends, got to be in a new space, filming it, and got to have some memories on camera at a minimum. Like I always say, if this podcast goes nowhere, at least I have the memories of spending time with people that I care about, like my friends, my dad, whoever else comes on eventually. And yeah, I need all of us to be less hard on ourselves. And when you're feeling like that, try to compliment yourself, as corny as it sounds. Like, I had to really talk myself off a ledge because of my physical appearance with that episode. I really did. And that is not easy to say out loud on camera to an audience, to be vulnerable. And people have opinions and they're not the ones doing it. It takes a lot of balls to do something like this. And that's what I have to keep reminding myself. But when it counts is when you do it when it's really hard. And it's really hard when you feel like it's not perfect, when you feel like you didn't like how it came out. And this applies to really anything in life if you really think about it. Life is not perfect, and things are not going to always be the way that you want them. And they're not going to turn out the way that you want them. And that's just something that I think people in general struggle with, is letting go, right? Like letting go and seeing what happens. And when you are the one in control of it, like I'm the one in control of this podcast and putting it out or not, you do have the option. It's like a test. It's like, are you going to do it even when it's hard, even when you didn't like the way that you looked, even when you didn't like maybe what you said or the way you sounded, are you still going to put it out there? Or are you going to put out this front that you're perfect and every episode you make is perfect and you love it and it needs to be a certain way and wrapped in a pretty bow? Like, that's not real. Also, that's not me. I'm kind of like a free spirit, for, I don't know if that's like the right term, but I'm like not a perfectionist. Well, I am in some senses, but I'm like messy. I'm like organized chaos. That's what I'm trying to say. So for me, things are always a little bit messy, and that's like part of who I am. Things don't go as planned. I'm forgetful. I'm clumsy. I trip over my words. Like, these are things about myself that I know, and I don't mind them about myself. So why would I put out a podcast that doesn't ever show that, if that makes sense? So maybe to a viewer it doesn't feel that way, but like, I know, even like asking some of my friends, like, is this what I like, what do I look like this? And they're like, no, you don't look like that. Like, they're honest with me, like, this doesn't look like you. And I understand why you're feeling a certain way, because it's not what you look like. And it's like, you're still gonna put it out fucking anyway. So it just is what it is. And I just have to know and be good with who I am. And I also want to show others that you can do things when they're hard. You can do things when they're messy. You can do things when it's not perfect. You can do things when maybe you feel like it's not the best representation of yourself, because you're still you. So I'm still me. I still know what I have to offer. I know that I can bring value to someone, and that doesn't have to do with what I look like. So I don't know if that really made sense, but I just felt like a case of the uglies is something that we all feel. My body is so sensitive, and anytime I am stressed or I eat the wrong thing, my body shows it. My water retention and bloating is insane. I eat something, I'm like bloated forever. And it really sucks, because it does play into the way that I look, right? So I'm PMSing for 2 weeks. I'm bloated. It fucking sucks. I'm swollen, I'm bloated, I'm gua shaing my face twice a day, trying to like not look like just a round head. Forget it. Getting on a plane, I'm fucked. I'm chugging electrolytes. I'm trying not to be dehydrated. All of the things, and I still somehow will be dehydrated and bloated. Oh my God, I forgot to make coffee today. I need a coffee. And it sucks, because I don't always have control, and I'm a healthy girl. Like, I really am. Like, I have health problems, but I'm healthy. I take my vitamins, I move my body, I drink a fuck ton of water, and my body is just super sensitive. So now I'm in this, trying to be in this era of my life where I'm loving on myself. And I don't love on myself every day, so I don't want it to come off like, oh, like I just love myself and all the parts of me. I don't, clearly. I just told you I fucking hated the way that I looked. But I'm trying to love the ugly parts of me, because are they even ugly? Well, they're physically ugly to me. There's a lot of ugly talk. They're physically ugly to me. Like, I don't like the way that I look, but it's my body, right? So let's be grateful. Let's bring in gratitude. It's my body. My body, thank God, for the most part, is healthy, right? I have a functioning body. That is something that many of us take for granted. I have 2 hands, 2 arms. Well, my arms are on my hands. I have my limbs intact. I can get myself places. I I have a good life. I have a body that takes me where I need to go. It gets me through things. It nourishes me. It does all of the things is basically what I'm trying to say. I'm really not wording this right. I sound weird the way that I'm saying this, but my body is doing what it needs to do for me to survive. And my body is extremely sensitive, as am I. And there is something about being a Pisces and being a sensitive person and being like clairvoyant, if you didn't know that about me. There's something about all of those things. People like that typically do have also sensitive bodies, like physically sensitive, sensitive to changes, sensitive to energy, sensitive in every sense of the word. So I am sensitive in all aspects. So sensitive to foods I eat. I'm sensitive to alcohol. I'm sensitive to medications. I'm sensitive to salt. I'm sensitive to just a lot of things. My body immediately has a reaction. I get on an airplane. I went to Italy in September, 9-hour flight. My body could not depuff for literally a week. It was terrible. Like, obviously the trip wasn't terrible. And I did let it upset me for a good part of the trip. And it is frustrating when you're putting on your outfits that you just tried on and they were perfectly fine and looked cute. And now you're where you're supposed to wear that outfit and you're bloated and swollen and you feel like not yourself, like you're not in your own body. You just feel like huge. And or you're PMSing, like whatever the case may be, when you're not feeling like yourself, it really sucks. I've had times where I will literally try on a pair of jeans and be like, oh my God, these look so good. I'll wear these on Saturday or on Sunday, whenever we have plans. I'll put them on when we're going out on those plans and they can't close because that's how bloated I am. And Amanda's like, that's crazy. Like those just fit you like 2 days ago. That's insane. My water retention is just like next level. And I'm so hard on myself and I just let it get to me. And it is frustrating because you go places, you want to take pictures, you want memories, and you just feel like it's not a representation of what you look like. But I do everything in my power to be healthy, to try to manage all the symptoms of the things that I experience on a daily basis, to nourish my body. I drink water, I hydrate, I take my vitamins, I take my minerals, I do all of these things. And that's all I could do, right? So trying to love on myself and just say to myself, you have a case of the uglies right now. It doesn't mean that you're ugly. And I understand that you wanted to wear a specific outfit and it's not looking the way it was supposed to look right now. And I understand that nothing feels like it's fitting you right now. And you're very frustrated because you feel like it's not you, but it's what you're dealing with. It's what is at hand. So instead of me being like, I'm so ugly, I look gross, I hate the way this is, I'm not going, I'm not gonna get any pictures, I'm fucking hideous. Instead of saying all those things to myself, I'm trying to say, you have a case of the uglies. I know it sucks. It's not permanent. And you're doing your best. You're doing all that you can to manage. You're doing all that you can to nourish your body. You're doing all the right things on your end. Your body's not always responsive. What can you do? So, just like nicer self-talk, because I will, without doubt, let it ruin my entire weekend, my entire trip. And it's frustrating. Those feelings are valid, but you can only control what you can control. So, talking myself through my uglies is something that I'm trying to work on. I'm a sensitive girl, and my body just reacts. Stress, forget it. Forget it. When I am stressed, my body holds on to every pound of fat like we are in the fucking Great Depression and a famine has stricken and we are never going to eat again. I'm not kidding. So for my body to not be stressed, it takes a lot of work. And I'm always working on it. My body, it's like your body goes into fight or flight, and my body does that and has these adverse reactions to stress. And I really have to work hard to, because your body being stressed is different than your mind being stressed. So if my mind is stressed, I know my body's gonna be stressed. But to get my body not stressed, let's say like I'm not feeling stressed this week, but my body might be feeling stressed. So these are like learning to really be in tune with yourself is also important. I am very much in tune with myself. I can point out and call things out like you wouldn't believe. And having habits in place to try and make your body not be stressed is super, super important, especially for women. So that way you can control what you can control. So for me, having a morning routine, having a night routine are very important for my body to not feel stressed. Now, am I perfect? No, I have a lot of work to do on keeping my routines intact. I am not consistent. So I'm consistent with the fact that I don't go on my phone in the morning. I wake up every day around 8:30, and I don't touch my phone. I don't text. I don't look at emails. Sometimes I'll like tap it and just like look at it, which I need to not do because I used to be really good where I didn't touch it at all for 30 minutes. Like after I woke up, sometimes even longer than that. Like on a Sunday morning, I won't touch it for like an hour and a half. I'll go eat breakfast with Amanda. We'll watch our shows. It's my favorite thing to do. And yeah, like a Saturday morning before work, we put on a show, we eat breakfast together, and I don't have my phone on the table. I don't have it out. So some ways that you can like do that is by having a strong night and morning routine. Routines are super important. So I'm managing my uglies by just making sure that I'm doing things in my daily life to try and take care of my body, because that's where I feel the uglies. It's with my body, right? So some things that I do when I do them, number one is try to get up at the same time every day. My body now gets up, like I said, 8:30, and actually, I get up earlier, but I don't get out of the bed. And that's something that I'm working on because I used to wake up really late. I used to sleep. Like, I don't know if it was hormones or whatever, not as an adult, but I would sleep till like 11. When I was younger, I would sleep till like 3 p.m. But when I was in my 20s, I would sleep till 11, sometimes 12. Like, I just couldn't get up. Obviously, if I had work and school, I would be doing what I had to do. But if you could let me sleep, I would sleep. Now, I can't sleep. I don't know what it is. I think Amanda's got me like kind of on her schedule. She gets up like at the butt fuck of the morning. She's up at like 5 a.m., which I don't really ever want to be that person. I just don't. I'm more of a night owl for sure, and I've learned to embrace that as well. I think like a big part is also stop fighting who you are. I'm not the girl that wants to be up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. at the gym. At least not right now, I'm not. Maybe that'll change down the road, but that's just not me. So I get up 8:30. But my body's actually been up in the 7 o'clock hour, 7:30. I would like to be up at 7:30. I would like to just get out of the bed when I feel that I'm awake. That's my problem, is that I don't get out of the bed and I just make myself like lay back down and I'm closing my eyes and I'm like laying there, but my mind is awake. My body's just not. My body just wants to lay there. So whatever, 8:30, I get up. I do use the Hatch alarm clock, which is like literally right here. And I really like that because so it mimics the sunlight, which Amanda hates, but it does like change colors and it gives you like a softer wake up. And it has all different sounds, which I love the sounds. Birds chirping, different like settings for the light for when you wake up, like different sunrises basically. It has some funny like wake up calls. There's just a ton of different settings on this, and same for at night. There's sleep stories, there's different sleep sounds, and you can set up a wind down time. So let's say you have your wind down at 8 p.m. or something, you hit it and it starts winding you down. And the wind downs also have all different settings as well. So it could be like just soft music or telling a story or something. And, you know, people will journal while they do. I don't journal when I do this, but people do that. So that's like one thing that I really like. It's the hatch itself is like $150, I think. And then the subscription for a year is like $50. I am big into health and wellness. Anything that's going to make my life better, I will buy. So that I have my subscription just renewed. No touching the phone for the first 30 minutes. No caffeine on an empty stomach. For women, this wrecks your hormones. It is really bad. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach is like one of the worst things that you can do. Get up, tongue scrape. I'm really getting into my ways now. I tongue scrape every single morning. Before you drink water, before you do anything, scrape your tongue. And you'll see there's so much, what is it called? Not bacteria. There's so much just gunk. I don't know. There is a word for it, but you'll just see like all of this shit coming off of your tongue, all this like white stuff, and it helps with your breath. Oral care is so important for gut health. So scrape your tongue in the morning. Don't drink your water because all of that yucky stuff in your mouth gets in your water, especially if you're like a Stanley girl or you use a water bottle with a straw. You don't want all of that stuff in there, right? It's like you want that out. That's the stuff you want out. It's collected in there while you're sleeping, and that's why you have stinky breath. So get up, don't touch your phone, go to your bathroom, scrape your tongue, brush your teeth, drink some water, make yourself some breakfast, then have your coffee. You could have it with your breakfast after you've had a few bites. I just have my coffee completely after I've eaten breakfast and after I've had at least a full bottle of water. So that's a game changer. It will help too with your like reliance on coffee for waking up in the morning. I don't think for men it's as disruptive, but for women it's really disruptive to your hormones, and it's just not good. You don't need to start your day with like strong caffeine, like espresso or whatever you're drinking. Like it's not necessary. It's a little like over the top. So, and you also want to give yourself time to have a morning routine, right? So for me, it's a little different because I work from home. But the days that I go into the salon, like I'm not an early bird. Like if I have to be at the salon at 9 a.m., like I have to make sure that I'm up at 7, and I'm not always good at that. But that's because I need to make sure I do all of these things before I go anywhere because I just feel better. So definitely working on getting up earlier on the days that I'm in the salon. Because if I start at 10, I need to be there 9:45. So I have to eat, walk the dog. So you just want to leave space, especially for everyone that's out there working, like when they're out of the house super early in the morning, you want to make sure that you have enough time. And you want to eat within the first like 90 minutes that you're awake. You want to eat something. If you're not into breakfast, figure out something else that you could have that's not going to spike your cortisol and your sugar levels. You know, you don't want to start your breakfast with something super sweet that's just going to spike your insulin. It's really not good. You want protein. If you can get like, I think it's like 40 grams of protein in your breakfast or 50 grams of protein in your breakfast, you've already hit like maybe half of your it depends. Everyone's different. Maybe for me, like I try to get 100 grams of protein a day. You've hit half of it already. And that's easy to do, honestly. You get some protein bread if you like that. I can't have that because I don't process it great. But like Dave's Killer Bread makes protein bread. You can have eggs, egg whites, turkey bacon, whatever it is. Or you could have a yogurt on the side, something. You want to hit like a high protein goal. first thing when you wake up. It's super important. And it sets you up for the rest of the day. You're fuller longer, and you're not starting your day off with sweets. Like, you don't want to start your day off with a coffee and a croissant. Not in America. If you're in Europe, you want to start your day off like that. But here, you can't. It's not good. So having that in place, making sure you're drinking water, make sure you're actually hydrating, drinking electrolytes, because regular bottled water is not really hydrating. So you want your minerals, your electrolytes. I could really go down a black hole. I really want to get this like reverse osmosis water machine. I love water. I'm a water snob. And yeah, you want to make sure you're actually hydrated. So adding electrolytes into your water, you can do it yourself. You don't have to buy electrolyte packets. I like electrolyte packets. I use the LMNT ones, unflavored, raw, no sugar added, nothing. People think it's gross. I think the flavored ones are gross. I don't really love flavored electrolytes. The only flavored electrolytes I will drink are the Moon Juice Mini Dew electrolytes. I just recently got the pomelo flavor. It's kind of like grapefruity. It's a little bitter, but I just drink a glass of it. I make Sexy Water. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but Sexy Water is basically putting additives into a glass of water that you need. So people do like chlorophyll. Right now I'm doing colostrum, electrolytes, brain dust, which is adaptogens. That's also by Moon Juice. It's adaptogens for focus. I'm really trying not to take Adderall or any. I haven't taken it and I don't want to start it for my ADHD. So I'm trying to incorporate adaptogens into my daily routine. Like I said, control the controllable, right? So I like to do everything possible in my power. For the most part, like I said, I'm not perfect. I like to do things in my power to control the way that I feel before I turn to like a medication, essentially. So for my ADHD, I'm talking about specifically, and for other things. With my Lyme disease too, I did it through supplements. I helped manage the symptoms through supplements and diet and exercise and things like that. So that's my daytime morning situation. And I have trouble like eating lunch for some reason. So I've been doing like protein smoothies and I add like hyaluronic acid to it. And I've just spent all my money on wellness products, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but I love this topic. I think I could have been like a functional medicine doctor. Maybe I can, who knows? Because I really, really enjoy learning about this stuff. And I work with a functional medicine doctor and he's changed my life. So that's been amazing. And I've always been interested in learning this stuff. So anyway, let me get back on track. I didn't take my adaptogens today. Nighttime. Now, if you haven't tried the Sleepy Girl mocktail and you have trouble sleeping or you have trouble getting your body to relax, this drink is so fucking good. I got my dad to start drinking it and he's like, holy shit, I've been sleeping through the night. The Sleepy Girl mocktail is like this trend, same like Sexy Water. I love these wellness trends when they're actually like good ones. So Sleepy Girl mocktail is tart cherry juice mixed with magnesium powder. The Moon Juice one, I have the berry flavor, which I don't love. I want to try their blue one. It's like lemon something. I probably like that one more. I'm not a big flavor girly, so if it could be citrusy and not sweet, I prefer that. So it's tart cherry juice, Moon Juice, magnesium powder with a prebiotic soda on top, or you could do a seltzer on top, or you could drink it as it is, whatever you want. And you basically make yourself a cute little mocktail at night, and it's magnesium and cherry juice. Tart cherry juice is like filled with melatonin, and I think magnesium too. I'm not sure, but I know it's either filled with one of those or both of those. I can't remember, but both of them are strong sleep aids. But most importantly, magnesium is really going to relax your body, and we are all deficient in magnesium. So drinking that at night, I swear, like I have trouble sleeping because my mind doesn't shut off. You just feel like you took something, except you don't wake up with the grogginess as if you took something. And it's crazy because you'll just be sitting there and then you just feel like it smacks you, this like wave of tired. and then you just sleep through the night. Sometimes you sleep really deep and you have some interesting dreams. Not bad dreams, just weird dreams. And that always happens though with melatonin. So it's probably melatonin in the cherry juice. But it really helps. I just top mine off with seltzer. I will sometimes do like a cherry lime poppy on top, but I don't love, like I said, flavored stuff, and I don't like love those prebiotic sodas. I haven't had one that I'm like obsessed with yet. That one's okay. I'll squeeze some fresh lemon in it and just mix it with the other two, but I don't even use the whole can, and I feel like it gets wasted because it's open and it's in the fridge. I don't know. Does anybody know how to like preserve like seltzer? I don't know, but the nighttime routine is important. So if you have trouble sleeping, you have trouble getting your body to relax, try that at night. And you know, try getting off the screens. This is my problem. I am on my phone at night entirely too much and entirely too late. And I need to work on that because the screen time at night, it really does affect your mind and the way that your mind moves, which I've talked about this stuff before. But yeah, it's not good to do. So you really want like a wind down routine, and that's something that I'm working on. Anyway, yeah, so having these routines set in place are super important. I was reading for a little bit, which I just need to get back into that. I've been watching Real Housewives of New Jersey from the beginning for like the third time over because I just love that show. And if you needed to know, I'm a tray hugger for life. And I'm like addicted to it. Every time I watch it, it's like I'm watching it for the first time again. It's so fucking good. So I've been having trouble turning the TV off, and I've been getting to sleep late, like 11, 12 o'clock at night, and that's not good. So don't be like me. And movement. This is the first time in a while I've actually been moving my body 4 days a week consistently. I have been working out for the last 3 weeks from Monday through Thursday, because then I'm in the salon Friday and Saturday, and it's a little bit harder. But exercise is so important. Movement is so important. We store so much stress in our bodies that needs to be released. Stretching, all of these things are so important. So I was doing all these other things, but I wasn't moving enough. And especially since I've been working from home, like I wasn't moving enough. I walk my dog like 4 times a day, which I get outside, which is good. And I get the sun on my face, but it's not enough. So Amanda got me some weights. I just want to work out at home. I don't really like going to the gym. I've been doing some YouTube workouts, and honestly, it's been really good. I don't feel so stressed about working out, because I think that's like intimidating too for like a lot of people. Like, I get intimidated going into the gym, especially when it's like a super crowded gym. And then the experience becomes stressful and you don't enjoy it. I do love a Pilates class here and there, but I'm more comfortable just like working out, doing my Pilates at home, or like my weight training at home. Nothing crazy. Just getting the movement in and walking on my walking pad, or doing an intentional like 30 to 45 minute walk. So as long as I'm doing all of these things, I'm curbing my uglies as best as I can, right? Because then I get my PMS and it's 2 weeks long and I'm bloated and nothing fucking fits. And at this point, I'm like, maybe I should just get another wardrobe for like when this happens. Like, people must see me and be like, wow, you look good today. And then they see me like a month later, and then it's like, what the hell? Like, it's just crazy. Like, the water retention, it's insane. But this is my body, and I have to love her and respect what she's going through. Because sometimes I just feel like your body is like so disconnected from your mind. Because sometimes I don't look the way that I feel. And I feel good. So I want to look in the mirror and be like, I look good too. But it's not always the case. And such is life. So that's how I'm curbing my case of the uglies. That's how I've been curbing it, is by trying to manage as much as I can to be healthy, to do the right thing, to do things that make me feel good. I barely drink anymore. I had like a drink and a half on Sunday, and I was like, I just have no interest. I don't know what it is. I just like, I think my mind wants to drink. Like, my mind is like, yeah, I want to get drunk with my friends and whatever. And then the time comes and I'm like fighting my body. My mind is fighting my body, because my body doesn't want the drink. My mind is telling me, that I want the drink. But I think that all comes to with like holding yourself to a past version of who you were, or others holding you to a past version of who you were. Because old me was a fucking rager. Old me was always drinking, partying like crazy. New me doesn't really want to. So you don't want others to hold you to a past version of yourself, but what about holding yourself to a past version of yourself? Like, that's a whole other topic I could get into, but I'm not going to do that on this episode. I'll write it down. But I'm not going to I need to learn to not hold myself to this past version of me. And I need to learn to welcome this new version of me, because my body is saying, no, Clarissa, you don't want it. And, you know, I can't fight my body too much. Like, my mind might be thinking about it, but if I feel something, I just can't. Like, I just can't do it. So I still like made myself have a drink that I couldn't even finish, and had to order another drink and had only like half of it. And it's stupid. It's like, why are you even doing that? Like, don't even do it. Your body doesn't want it. So listen to your body. I need to be better about that. Listen to my body, because I was so happy when I woke up on Monday morning and I felt amazing. Like, I was able to work. I was able to get things done. I was able to work out. I didn't feel guilty or shitty or like just like a piece of shit, to be honest. And I've done so much partying in my life. I was so wild. It's like, I lived those years. So it's time to let them go. Not to say that I won't have a drink and have fun and go out with my friends and enjoy a party here and there, but it's more of just like welcoming it and not putting the peer pressure on yourself, because nobody was peer pressuring me to drink. It was me. It was coming from me. It was me bullying myself. So yeah. The moral of the story is, listen to your body, nourish your body, love your body at every stage, appreciate your body through the case of the uglies, because that's when it's the most important. That's when it counts. And don't be afraid to put yourself out there, no matter what that looks like, is really the case of the case of the story. You hear me? The moral of the story. So for me, that was a big, hard thing for me to do. Put out that episode regardless of how I feel. Love myself regardless of how I look. And appreciate every stage of my life and at my body. And appreciate every stage that my body is going through. And learning to. I'm not 100% doing it, but learning that if I'm controlling the controllables, things just are what they are, and things are not always going to be the way that you want them. So letting go a little bit and just being like, it's okay. Just because you feel ugly doesn't mean you are ugly. Just because you don't like the way you look doesn't mean you're ugly. And most importantly, just because you feel that you are ugly, it does not mean that you don't have things to offer the world. Your looks do not equate to your value. So whether you are the most beautiful person on this earth, it does not make you a great person. And whether you are the ugliest person, beauty subjective, the ugliest person on the earth, or you feel like the ugliest person on the earth, it does not equate to your value as a person. It doesn't make you a good person. It doesn't make you a bad person, because you're still you under whatever you look like, under the makeup, under the hair, under the pretty, under the ugly. You're still you. So make sure that you're good with you and not so much this, because when you're good with you, usually this is good too. When you are a good person, it radiates. When you are magnetic, it radiates. When you have a light within you, it radiates. And I know that I do have those things. So no matter how I might feel about myself, I got to be good with me, because I know that I'm good. I'm good in here. And that beauty, it's corny, but the beauty does come from within, because you can tell when someone's not good in here. You can tell sometimes just by looking at them. You can tell. And I think it's important that we all know that. So that's really something I wanted to talk about today. And that's the end of the episode. I'm going to end it with my high and low of the week. I think my high of the week is that my last episode is doing well, regardless of how ugly I thought I was. And my low of the week is that I thought I was the fucking ugliest person on earth and I was so mean to myself. So it's pretty self-explanatory. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, stories you want to share, topics you want me to talk about, anything at all, please send it to tgrpod.nyc@gmail.com. I love you guys and thank you so much. For my newcomers, welcome. And for those that have been there, I appreciate you more than anything. Love you. Bye.